Coming up, Lady A gets a bigger brain.
You're listening to Double Time, your daily accessible technology show. Now, here's your hosts, Stephen Scott and Sean Priest.
Could we get Sean a bigger brain? That's the question. Or a brain. That would be a start. Hey, Sean Priest, how are you?
What a lovely... Well, insulted for one thing, Stephen Scott. I was about to say, don't baffle me with your techno-science there. Gets a bigger brain. Well done. We will break this down.
This show's for the people.
News.
What are we talking about?
News.
Well, Lady A got a bigger brain. There you go. That's the story. Essentially, they've brought in a new subscription service. We're going to talk about that today. And with us to break it all down, as promised, David Ward from the Echo Tips podcast is back with us. Hey, David.
Hey, good to be with you guys, Stephen.
Listen, it's great to have you here, David, and I'm so glad we're talking about all this today. Before we do, though, tell us a bit about how things are going with the Echo Tips podcast. You must be quite excited about this event because this gives you loads of content for your show, right? That's what's it's a winner for you.
Absolutely, yeah. So yesterday's event was it had lots of goodness, which we're going to dig into. But yeah, those are the kind of things that I cover on the Echo Tips podcast, just to keep people abreast of what's happening, man. And we got a lot of good things to talk about.
Yeah, if you want a good podcast that's all about the Echo, then that is the show you want to be checking out. Okay, let's talk about it then. So I was expecting products. Okay, I was kind of hoping for lots of new goodies to buy. My credit card is sitting here and it's quavering. Is that the right word? I don't know, but let's say it is. Let's say it is.
Yes.
It's quavering over here. I think it's quivering. And what's quavering? Feedback at doubletaponair.com.
That's a Scottish term. Carry on.
That's quavering. It's the same thing as quivering. It's just we say it differently just to annoy the English.
But, it sure doesn't quivering or oh, that's Quebec. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, not Quebec again. We're not starting that again. So yeah, I was expecting lots of stuff to buy and never materialized, despite them announcing. And it was, am I wrong in this? It was a product and services event. And in fact, they actually called it in the press release that followed a devices and services event. So that was the title of it, but no devices. Are either of you upset about this, Sean?
Yeah. Oh, yes. It was a roller coaster of an event yesterday. I was up, I was down, I was excited, I was disappointed. I think at one point I had you whinging in my ear. I want to buy something constantly.
I was getting bored.
Yes. So no new hardware. I was quite surprised by that. But on the flip side, I mean, there was no new hardware needed for the new AI service. So you could argue, well, that's a good thing. I don't have to throw out my, rooms full of Lady A's as it is. So yeah, it was a little bit disappointing. I was expecting something new.
All right, David, were you disappointed?
Surprised, I would say, because it's been a while since we've seen some new hardware. 2023, we had, kind of a revision of the Echo Show 8. And generally, we see new hardware in the fall, and we all kind of thought, well, they're just pushing that back because the AI isn't ready yet. But still, no new devices, even in yesterday's announcement.
Okay, look, let's circle back on that then, because I do want to maybe bring that up again at the end, and I think there could be good reason for this. And I'll get to that. And we'll also talk about what devices can actually use the new thing that was announced. Because, despite no devices and services, you can call this a service. I don't know if you would. But okay, there was a thing announced, and it was called, let's call it A+. Okay? The Lady A Plus.
Yeah. Can we just say before we get into it that maybe you should mute your smart speaker just in case we do.
We probably will see it.
It probably wouldn't hurt.
Yeah. I've muted mine actually because I was doing a hit with the guys over at AMI Today yesterday, and of course I was talking about this, and of course I just kept talking all over it, and reaching for the button, trying to find the mute button.
So unprofessional.
I think I actually ended up resetting my Lady A, not muting it, because there's the two buttons and you press it on one and suddenly you're resetting it. Okay, let's talk about what was announced, A+. So David, what was your takeaway from what you heard? How would you summarize A+?
A lot, pretty much what we kind of anticipated, though. Although it seems like it's more of a native integration than the beta was last year, when they you kind of go into a special mode and you talk to the AI infused A lady. A little more integrated into all the services and features, the ability to have a conversation, And it just sounded really, really impressive. Things we may have never anticipated either. Ability for it to maybe pour through our documents, or maybe even recognize pictures or handwriting, different things like that. So I think some things that were kind of a surprise to us, but and a lot of third-party integrations with like Uber and other services. I think some food services and things like that.
Food?
Food, yeah. We need
Glorious
a KFC
food.
integration.
More, please.
So, yeah, but mostly all software. Like you said, no real products, but just new services. And some very interesting things we'll learn about the costs and things, too, we'll talk about. So
I think the long and short of it is that you can now talk to your Lady A just like you talk to ChatGPT or Google Gemini or Copilot. When we first saw, when Amazon first rolled out their first demo of AI, as you said, David, it was basically a skill. It was like a chatbot. And we had skills already available on Lady A with ChatGPT and things like that that you could open up and have a conversation. Now, thankfully, it seems like they've moved away from that. And as you said, it's just how you conversate now with your smart speaker. It's all AI. So basically, you can have a natural language conversation, which is the best thing about AI as far as I'm concerned. You can fall over your words. You can, you don't have to think about how you're phrasing anything. And it's far more integrated into other things. You can control your smart home, and we mentioned about documents and things. We will get into that, but you can query documents that you can give it access to. You can send text messages. And again, the key point to take away from this is that it's just got a lot more natural to talk to, and that's a cool thing.
Yeah, I mean, the beta was so restricted last year, Sean. I mean, you couldn't interact with home automation. You couldn't check your list, your calendar, anything like that. It was just basically, how tall is Mount Everest? You could ask it these factual things.
Yeah.
But now we've learned the new A+ lady.
Well done.
Is I gotta get the right phrase. Is gonna be able to look at our calendar, our list, our shopping things. Just so many. It's gonna be really integrated with all of that, which is, I think, what we were really wanting.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating when you sort of dig in. I've just been reading through a lot of the information that comes out, and it's hard to. And we're going to try and encapsulate as much of what we got from the event. I mean, it feels in some ways, if I'm honest, okay, that if you've been using something like ChatGPT for a long time, it's going to feel like, oh, here we go again. It's just another one of those. But I do think there's a bit of a shift here, because this is the first time we're getting this inside a device that we've all been used to using. I've been saying it for long enough. I want ChatGPT inside the Amazon Echo. And that's not something that's been available yet. I mean, Google and the Nest, and I know you've been looking into that as well, David, about what's going on there. What is going on with that at the minute? I mean, is Google implementing Gemini into Nest, or is it?
Yeah, and I think you guys brought that up on an earlier show. It's kind of like in a weird quasi, almost beta release. So I am looking to maybe do that with one of the new Nest devices, the Gemini integration. But I did do a demo of it with Gemini on my phone, where it integrated with my Gmail and with my Google Docs, so that I could go over and ask Gemini, hey, summarize my last 3 recent emails, and it would tell me what they were all about. And I could dig into information even more. And it looks like we're getting kind of that functionality with the A lady. In fact, she might be leapfrogging ahead of Gemini's features, because just in a short period of time, I won't say when, we're going to be able to have similar context. Yeah, even our email. I don't think we've mentioned email today yet. That was another thing mentioned, the ability to recheck our emails. So yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
We could do this at the very beginning. Remember with Lady A, you could do this at the beginning?
Yeah, you could. It was a feature. You could ask for your email, and then let's see, could you send an email? I think you could send an email. But now to do it in just a very natural way, and her to summarize, just not read it to you, just look at that email and tell me what the bill is and how much it cost, or whatever. Read that invoice to me,
Oh, it was awful to use, right? It was so clunky to try and manage your emails through a smart speaker. It sounded great, but in practice, it was terrible. And this is the big plus point plus point
Very
for thank you, for AI is just being able to say, give me that summary or search my emails for this or delete those emails with that. It's just all about how we interact with it. Again, another thing was that you don't have to say the wake word every time, as you don't with other with other AI services. Follow-up mode constantly. So you just say the wake word once and then you have a conversation. Being able to fold multiple commands into one command in one sentence. Fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I think all these ideas are great and they're going to really help. And it's kind of taking it to the next level. Now, they call this, I think I'm getting this right, they call it agentic, right? Which is where it becomes more than just an assistant. It kind of becomes an agent on your behalf. It can go and do things for you. And that's the thing we've been looking for as well, isn't it? With smart home, you want to be able to say, dim the lights, turn the air conditioning to 42. I don't know what that is, if that's good in Fahrenheit or not. Is that cold? I don't know. Let's just say it is.
Freezing or burning. We don't know.
I don't know if my house is on ablaze or whether it's frozen solid.
Make it comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah. So you could say things like that, right? And you could also... one of the things that they demoed on stage was something that we have already, such as the ability to move music. So right now, if you're playing an Amazon Music, you can say, move this to give it the device name, move it to the bedroom, move it to the kitchen. But using AI, you don't have to be so precise. Move it to the other room, maybe. It would try and figure it out. They moved it from left to right of the room they were in. You can be more free-flowing. You can just use general chat, and it will work out what you mean by that. This is very cool on the context of what you're saying. It also, they mentioned about the tone. It understands the tone. So if you are getting angry and annoyed with you, perhaps it will cool you down.
God help us all.
It'll be like, I'm so sorry.
The problem is when it becomes a robot and it can slap you back in the face. That's when you've got a problem, right? Stop shouting at me. Stop shouting. But and the thing is, what's kind of cool and has always been cool about the Amazon Echo is you don't really need to understand how it works. Of course, you can dig into it and you can learn about how it all works in the background. But as a user, you don't need to care about all that stuff, right? The whole thing here is the whole thing when it began was you could just talk to the air. What was the phrase? Ambient computing. You just talk to the air and it will just respond to you. And of course, then it was exciting because I remember a friend of mine came to the house. He'd never seen one of these before. And I said, just ask it to play some Frank Sinatra or Elvis Presley, whatever you want. And he said, play some Elvis Presley, and a song played. And he was blown away that it could do that. And, 15 years later, here we are now with this. And, we've got this incredible device which will be able to do lots of different things with these integrations. So we're talking about integrations. The word integration came up a lot, not the word skill. So I wonder if something's different here. Is this going to be essentially Amazon's walled garden of integrations that they've built, they've tested, they've worked with, and that will be different to the existing system where you've got skills that you can enable? And how will all that work? I mean, it's because one thing we do know for sure is that you'll be able to, well, at least there'll be a website. Whether you can control much of it, I don't know, but there will be a website for control and doing stuff.
Yeah, a portal or of some type. Yeah, with
don't know if any more detail
with that. Yeah.
And there'll be a new app as well, which will go with it.
Yep.
Will it be accessible? We'll see. But that might be a C+. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, carry on.
You mentioned the agent side of things, and I think that was excuse me, I think that was really exciting as well. And it's interesting about this. We could say the skill store, right? I think you will agree with me, David. The skill store is in ruins. Those skills are ruins. Just it hasn't been up. If you ask it, hey, what's the latest games? It will tell you games like, I heard about that 2 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And the skill store itself is just not nice to navigate. It doesn't seem updated. It's almost like they gave up on the skills. Now, what they do mention here is that they are in partnership with other service providers such as Uber and Ticketmaster and Grubhub, and they're able to take advantage of their AI models. And they're also saying that A+ is model agnostic. And it's using something they're calling, what's it called in Bedrock?
Amazon Bedrock is the foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they'll be using two particular large language models from Anthropic and Amazon Nova.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've never heard of Bedrock, apart from the Flintstones, and I've never heard of Nova except a Vauxhall, which has taken me back a few years.
Yeah, and we are making a few assumptions here, but what I'm assuming is, because it mentions, it will find the best, what they're calling Amazon experts, but what everyone else would call, AI agents. I'm assuming they will use the best agent for a particular task. So maybe they've got agent trained specifically for music playback, because they did give a demo of, play that song with featuring that person, and it got it right first time. You could be really vague on,
Well,
I
I think was it something like, what was the song with the girl who was sad and the guy played the guitar, and they worked out that it was Shallow by Lady Gaga and the other guy.
Yeah. So, it can do all that. And to be honest, I'm thinking, okay, so those agents are really cool, and there's a particular feature that we may talk about later on, which could prove even more invaluable to us from an accessibility point of view. But I'm thinking that maybe actually the Google smart speaker way of doing things is proven to be right. Because remember when we got to the Google smart speaker and we were saying, well, yeah, but there's no skills. It just sort of says, oh, I know what you want to do. I'll sort that out for you. There wasn't a skill store to browse. And we were sort of put off by that. But actually, it seems like this may be going the same way, I think. It just knows what you want to do, and it will go off and find the right service for that.
That or Sean, or it could be an inkling towards maybe clearing out the cruft of the skill store. Now, maybe going forward, there'll be skills that are, A-Lady Plus compatible or A-Lady Plus certified. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because we definitely have a lot of just kind of detritus and just weirdness in the skill store that's left over.
Fart sounds. Yeah. That's all you get. It's just
lots of
sound effects. I mean, it's great for someone like me who, does like the odd sound effect from time to time. I'm not against
the
them.
Skill store is the equivalent to double tap sound effects.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's never changing and annoying. But that is, you're absolutely right. I didn't even think about that, because we will get onto, this is a subscription service, A+. So the old, A standard must still be available. So that skill store cannot go away, really.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point, actually. And this may be exactly it. It's a new platform. They did say it was a whole new architecture, so it kind of does suggest to you this is something brand new, which you can create, you can activate by enabling the subscription. But that underlying A-Lady will probably disappear. Or again, I don't want to say that, because I know people get freaked out when I say that, and there's no evidence that it will go away, and I don't think there's a reason why it would go away at this point.
I think it will eventually.
It will eventually, yes. I mean, it's going to be replaced eventually by this, but then I suppose I don't know, because if you think about it, to have a subscription service, to have something available, would you kind of want to have that underlying free option to get people in that would then make them want to buy the Plus subscription?
Freemium? Yeah,
because it's not Plus then if it's the only option on the table, right?
Yeah, that's true. Well, it may just totally change in the future. And if you get one of these smart speakers, you're going to be paying a monthly subscription anyway. But before we get into that, going back to the event yesterday, was there anything that really blew you away? Because they did a few examples, right? There was a good list of examples of what it can do. Some of it we've seen before, but done in a different way. Obviously, the natural language. But was there anything there where you thought, wow, that's cool?
I would say what struck me is, the email thing could be great. The multimodal component of some of the AIs, I don't know if they really specified which one, whether it was Claude or not, but the ability just not to have that verbal component and converse back and forth. But even it was mentioned certain image recognition or handwriting. So that may play into, we're not sure yet, but maybe play into taking a picture with your Echo Show, or maybe pictures you upload. So the ability, I really wasn't expecting anything like that. So I think that was a surprise to me, Sean. I don't know about you, but
of course, we're thinking, could show and tell actually be useful now?
Yeah. God. Yeah. Make it better. Make it work better. Yeah.
If it's taking a picture using the camera on your Echo device and then using AI to describe it, a la Be My Eyes or all the others out there, that could be really useful. But the thing that really shone really for me was the ability for it to check the cameras. So one of the examples was,
Oh yeah,
have I had a delivery? And it was able to check your maybe your blink cameras or your ring cameras and see if you had a delivery. And then they asked, are there any parcels around the house? And it could check. I thought, that is cool.
I
and
must
also,
have missed that. That is really cool.
Yeah. Did anyone walk the dog today? And I thought, oh, well, this is just going to be a simple, make a reminder I've walked the dog. But no, it checked the cameras to see if anyone had been out with the dog. And then, someone's walked the dog.
Do you know?
Okay, that is cool.
So here's the thing, right? So this is just for me, I guess, but not exclusively, because I know lots of people will be in this position as well. But I've got mum and dad, and my mum is kind of at a stage where in her life she's got some challenges, and sometimes she will leave the house, and she, I'm always worried when she comes back in because the Ring doorbell doesn't always capture it, right? It doesn't always capture someone. It might capture someone walking out, but doesn't capture coming back. And you've only got the live view. It's not capturing 24/7.
Yeah, there's a motion delay, isn't there? If she walks out and then it may be dead for 2 minutes before it starts motion tracking again. Yeah.
So you have that problem. So being able to say, when was mum out today? Or is mum in the house? Or was mum out? And even, I guess you could do this with indoor cameras as well. Where is someone in the house? It's going to be really good for families to, there's lots of systems out there to help people who are older remain in their own homes. And there's lots of specialist systems, which, if you can, instead of spending hundreds or thousands of dollars a year on a system, you can instead just get a couple of, Amazon Blink cameras, then that's brilliant, right? I mean, that could be really cool. But like you say, for the everyday stuff for most people, you're right. It's going to be checking the delivery. When my kid come home? Did my daughter get home okay last night? Those kind of things. That's what you're going to be checking. Of course,
though, this could all be really limited. We know what AI is like. There may be some, we can't tell you about a certain person. We can only show you there's a dog or a parcel out there.
There's a human who walked past. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Sean is laying on the sidewalk.
He's in a hedge.
Again.
Yeah, we don't know the extent of it. We may be getting carried away with what the capability is definitely there, whether they allow that to happen. But still, again, it just shows the power of, not having to think about, have I got to phrase this? And the ability for it to go off and know the context of, did anyone take the dog out? Well, I'll go and check the cameras and see. I mean, that's so cool.
I mean, it's funny because I was thinking about what kind of blew me away. I don't know if it blew me away. I've seen this before, but again, it's the way that the agentic side of things works. So instead of just asking a question, you can do more than that. So one example was you can book a table for two. They used a thing called Open Table. They could, book an Uber as well, and you could then text the friend the details and the plans. And apparently there was a thing. I think I got this right, where your friend you're meeting would get the text. But I guess it would send also the Uber information as well, so you would know where they were. And, all these kind of integrations, that is quite exciting because I don't know, there's something about the way Amazon do this. They tend to bring what I would call useful integrations into the home. I've often found that. I mean, the Amazon Echo is the one device I have never not used once in a day. I've used it multiple times a day, but I mean, I've never gone a day without talking to it. It's always useful. It's always useful in some way. Siri, because of the challenges with it, I tend to just avoid it. I'll try and actively avoid using it. It's like, this is not great. And then you hear about, you can create an emoji of you with a dog. Who cares? I don't care about any of that garbage. I'm sorry.
Wait,
I'm a 43-year-old man. Get a grip.
I'm sure you could narrow that down. How many times do you use your Lady A day? For what task? Mine are used for an incredibly accessible media player, radio, music, podcasts, audiobooks, whatever it may be. It's used for controlling my smart home, turning the heating or lights on and off. And it's also used for, I suppose, answering questions.
Spellings for me all the time.
Spellings, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, for Uber support, there's been an Uber skill for the longest time. There was over here in the UK, there was a Just Eat skill or a Deliveroo, I can't remember.
That's like the Grubhub equivalent, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But you know what? It stopped working. Or, something broke on it. Or it just wasn't quite, I don't know, it was clunky. And so the skills, as I mentioned, just sort of lost their power.
But hang on, is that because the skill is poor? It's been badly written. It's been written by some 16-year-old in a shed somewhere.
How dare you?
Well, I mean, it probably is. Let's be honest. It's some kid that's written. Some kid who works at Grubhub's been told, write a skill. I don't even know what a skill is. I don't know why we need it, says the manager, who's probably like me in Balding. And he's like, I don't care about this, but apparently people want it. Go do it. And this kid's goes, okay, no problem. And he goes off and does it. And then it gets put up there and forgotten about. And that's kind of it, right? Whereas this is different. This is partnership integration. So there's much more deeper connection here between the companies themselves and their services. I think this might work better, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
I hope so.
No, I totally agree with you. And again, let's go back to the agent talk, because this was another thing that got me very excited, because they mentioned that their agents can actually go on and click about, I think was the actual phrase that I read, click about on their partners' websites. So
we've heard about this before.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're thinking Rabbit R1, we're thinking, operator on the Chat GPT and tasks on all whatever. The point
Type ahead on the Mac that was the blind version, if you like.
Yeah. Now, I don't know how far this is going to go. If this is only sort of almost internally, that's how it orders you at Uber because it's been trained on the Uber website, or if you can sort of go rogue on this and tell it to do things on certain websites, and it goes off and does whatever you want it to do. Now, because they did mention the new ladya.amazon.com website and a new app that's coming, I've got a feeling that that website is going to be a lot more powerful than it's ever been before. I'm excited by that. You can be able to upload your documents. You can upload user manuals. You can upload menus.
Okay, well, let's dig into that bit, because that bit we haven't really touched on. David, you mentioned it.
Sorry, I'm getting carried away.
No, this is good. This is good, because
No,
there's so much
cool.
in this. It's so hard to kind of summarize all of it, and we'll try and tell you as much as we can through the hour, but obviously there's so much more. And I know as soon as we finish any show we do following up an event, people will say, you didn't mention this. I know, it's so much. But let's touch on this whole thing about the documents, because David, you were oohing and eyeing all over the place during the event, because you're like, hang on a minute, so this can connect, or at least you can upload somehow documents into this. I think the description used was a letter from a homeowners association or something.
That was mentioned during the event as an example. So like maybe your homeowners association allows you to do or not do this in your front yard, but you don't know what it is. You walk over to your A lady, you say, hey, what is can I change mailboxes, or can I do this? And it comes back with the answer. That's pretty cool. I immediately thought of menus too. You could have a couple of menus in there, and you just go, hey, what's does the local Chinese restaurant sell this or not? And you could just get the feedback immediately.
I know the answer already, because I'll never get the same thing: chicken fried rice with extra gravy, prawn crackers, and chips, or as you may call them, fries.
Fries.
Yes. Again, though,
or a chicken ball if I feel like it.
Oh, all right, extravagant.
There you go.
Yeah, I like to roll out the boat.
Thanks for derailing the conversation.
I should mention Chinese food. I got excited.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That was David's fault. How dare he?
I'm sorry.
Don't mention food around me. You know how it goes.
But look, exactly why you need the Lady A website, because how else would you upload? Of course, you could possibly do it for your phone, but
I was thinking, I thought you might scan it. Like, I thought you'd hold it up to the device.
Well, you could take a picture. You could do it through the camera on a device, but trying to get a manual in there, it'd be far easier to just load in a PDF or a Word document.
Or the new app, they're going to have. So that could be it. Yeah.
So you could do it either way, but I just think that's really, really cool. It's going to have, as most AI does, it's going to have a memory. It's going to know your likes, your dislikes. You're going to have a record of documents there that you can refer to, and it can search through and summarize. That is very powerful.
It's kind of like Ira without the, Ira bit.
Okay.
Well, it is. When you think of it, you can upload documents to Ira, and you can, have those referenced. And this is what, it's funny with the integrations. I'd love to see services like that integrate in. I think that would be what actually Ira could be really useful on the human level as well. Being able to upload the documents and stuff. I don't know if that'd be possible, but with integration, that could actually work really well. Just being able to sit and say, hey, look, I'm struck with something. Can you help me? And they can. I know that it's not really about a video call with Ira. It is in the sense of they want to see what you're looking at, but I don't know. Anyway, that's a total aside. I want to mention Suno. Because there's an integration with Suno. And I know a lot of our listeners love Suno, right? So I know a lot of people will be saying, hey, Suno? But yeah, that's
Brian.
One. Yeah, exactly. And not just Brian, by the way. I'm starting to get a lot more of these emails in from people who want to sing their emails to us, which is brilliant. But yeah, Suno, of course, if you don't know, that is where you can turn simple lyrics into songs. I mean, I must admit, I think you need to be a little bit more creative when you're using it, but you can basically do this, and of course, kids will love that, but a lot of adults love it too. So they're going to have some fun with this, and we'll see where it goes. I mean, this is kind of where the integrations are more exciting than the skills, and I think this is what's really going to set this apart, and maybe make it worth the subscription cost.
Mm. Yeah, I think the thing with Suno is they did have a skill, right, Sean?
They did
at some point last year, and it was pretty cool. But it's grown and it's so much cooler. I mean, it's really polished now. Suno does some pretty cool stuff.
Oh, Suno's amazing, but the website is hard work if you're a screen reader user. I can't quite get my head around it. It changes now and again. I haven't found a sort of usable app on the iPhone that I can access it. I mean, people do, don't get me wrong. People do find their way around. I just haven't invested that amount of time into it. So an easy way to do that by just saying to your lady, hey, write a song about this in this style. Could be very, very cool. Hey, we could have new jingles on Double Tap. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, what's wrong with the existing ones? I think they're pretty good.
That's not a jingle.
It's become one. Now, another thing that they've brought in is a lot of news integrations and sports as well. They talked a lot about sports, but I don't care about sports.
I tuned out then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, for those who like news, then you can get news from Reuters, Time, USA Today, Politico, and if you want no news at all, Associated Press. A little political joke there. But
steady now.
Just don't ask about certain politicians, that's all I'll say. But yeah, you can get news, and this is of course going to get you accurate responses around lots of topics. Now, the thing I'm trying to work out here, David, because they talked about the information you can get, but I kind of wonder, a lot of people get in touch with the show now and they talk about, I mean, we were talking recently about Envision Ally and ChatGPT as well, and Pi and all those kind of things. Like Sean loved Pi, and it was the thing that came out of that was always conversation, chatting with it, not just a case of just tell me the day's news and then you would listen to it and that was it. It was more, right? It was more about conversation about this guy and whatever happened to him. Like the other day with Ally, I was asking about someone who was in the Ally because it was called Ally, it just made me think of Ally McBeal. So I asked about Ally McBeal. There was a woman in it called Jane Krakowski. What did she do after Ally McBeal? And it said, she was in a show called 30 Rock. And I'm like, yeah, I knew that already. But that's okay. And then what else? And she's in a play in London. And I'm like, that's cool. What's the play about? And it sounded really boring. Sorry, Jane. But so, okay, fine. But, it was kind of cool to get that information. Oh, age is she? Where does she live these days? And, that got a bit personal. And then she shut off. But
virgin on the stalkerish.
Stalker, Stephen.
I didn't mean to. Just wanted to get to know Ally.
I totally agree with you. But let me say this. I did the same thing and was given wrong information. And when I picked them up on it, I think I was using ChatGPT at that time. When I picked him up on it, so actually, he's not in this show you said he was in. Oh, you're absolutely right. He's never been in that. And then I ask again, what else has he been in? And again, it tells me that show. He's never. So look, that is the problem with AI, right? It's not that reliable.
But hang on, but that's not my question.
Yes.
Believe it or not, there is one in amongst all this nonsense.
Yeah, sorry.
So, my question is, will this be the same? Because I got the impression that, yes, you could talk to it, but it was more about doing things for you. It didn't feel like it was conversational in the same way. Maybe am I picking up wrong on that? Because I can totally imagine people doing it that way and talking to it all day and night.
Yeah.
People do already.
Yeah. If I could expand, though, on your question, though, a little bit, in your comparison to, was it Ally?
The Envision Ally, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I've been playing with that in the beta on my phone, and one of the neat things you can do is you can customize the AI to do for yourself. You could say, always talk to me sarcastically, or always, give me a good burn or whatever. And you can kind of customize its personality and the way that it interacts with you. And that's kind of an interesting question to mine too. Is that something we'll have an ability to do with this new A-Lady Plus? That would be pretty cool.
Would it? I soon got over that. That's everyone said that is the best feature of Ally, the ability to give it a personality and define that personality. I totally get it. I've heard people make it a cheesy game show host or an aggressive stand-up comedian that always insults me. Right? Absolutely fine. I did that for the first 2 minutes.
I think you're talking about me until you said stand-up comedian.
Yeah, you're just a sit-down comedian,
That's
Stephen.
right,
It's fine. But after when you actually try to use it for any extended period of time, that soon gets okay. Just talk to me normally. I'm not sure everyone wants just.
Sorry, Sean, you're absolutely right. With the Ally thing, right? It's getting all really excitable and saying all, and I'm just like, could you just tell me when the next train is? I don't care about all this nonsense. Stop swearing at me. Just tell me.
I think I ended up with my bio, if that's what they called it. I can't remember now.
What's that word?
Saying bio.
Well done.
Please do not ask me a question at the end of your answers.
Oh, that's clever. That's
a good one.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? How do you feel? What's your favorite? Shut up. I don't want a conversation. I just want answers.
Yeah, it can be really practical. I mean, for example, with Jaws AI, FS Companion, the ability, to customize an AI so that, for example, it isn't telling us to use the mouse and click on a button. It's giving us keyboard commands. So even if you could just customize the AI so that it knows that you're a blind person and it needs to describe maybe directions to you in a different way than using your eyes.
Absolutely.
That could be very powerful.
I found it quite interesting with Ally that it felt to me like it didn't know I was blind. And I'm not saying it needed to know that. I just kind of assumed because this was Envision Ally, it would know.
Oh, I know. I definitely told it right at the beginning.
Oh, so did I, because when I asked it to find something, it said, it's, you'll see it on, and I'm like, well, I can't see it on the desk. That's why I'm asking you.
Did it point to it, Stephen?
Yes,
it
reached out the phone.
Over there.
Like every person I've asked on the street ever. It's just over there.
That's what we've got to. And all this work, all this, the entire Earth is being destroyed for this. But you know what? Hey, great. We've just got a human at the end of the day.
But it did mention it's going to remember things like your favorite movies, your music, and you mentioned sports there, and it can tell you when, when games are coming up, and it can set calendars.
I like that.
For concerts, it can look out for specific concerts and let you know when tickets are available. So it has got a memory to it. So maybe some of your accessibility needs could be part of that. I would hope so.
Okay, let's dig in there a little bit, because I think we often look for the accessibility tools in here, right? We all ooh and ah when we think, that could be good for us. You mentioned documents, of course. That's a big one. There's going to be a privacy question here, though, isn't there, David? I know I'm the only one that ever brings it up, because Sean always says, I don't care, I just give all my data away to anybody who asks for it. But
what are you hiding?
Yeah, exactly. Well, bank details, medical information, that kind of thing. I don't know, just that.
I have no money in my bank and I'm blind and diabetic. There you go. You know everything.
I did kind of laugh. I was watching an interview with someone and they were talking about, I think it was John Oliver's show last week tonight on HBO, and I was watching it, and they were talking about the data that Elon Musk may have access to as a result of getting into the system, right, and the American whatever it is system, Treasury, and it's like, you've got access to bank accounts and you've entered the most personal information you can think of. And John Oliver comes back with, the most personal information a man has is his Google history. So don't even think. As long as it was that, we're fine. Just do it as long as that's not there. You can have the bank history, you can have the bank account, you can have all that. Don't worry about any of that. But no, there is a question around privacy, though, isn't there? Because we're using Anthropic, we're using Amazon Nova, or do you think people are just past this now? Do you think people are saying, do you know what? I don't care. I just want to have. And those who are discerning about it obviously just won't use it.
I don't know, Stephen. I mean, Microsoft is kind of kind of blaze the trail with Copilot and stuff in a successful way, in the sense that if you're a paying member, I think under most circumstances, they promise that it will not learn from your input. So in other words, that PDF document or whatever you put in there, it will be able to digest it and answer your questions, but it doesn't ultimately feed back into, somebody else somewhere else is not going to accidentally ask for something and it's going to spit out Stephen's medical history. In other words, it won't feed back into the model. So I would hope Amazon would have a similar approach, and this is a paid, we're going to talk about that, but there is a cost. So I would hope that they would do a similar kind of thing to protect your privacy.
But you know what? That is a great question, Stephen, because if this was an Apple event, well, as we saw with Apple Intelligence, everything was about your privacy, your security. Yes. Was this even mentioned?
No,
I don't even know if privacy or security of your documents was mentioned at all. It was just, let's not talk about that. So we have no idea what they're doing. Where the documents are going to end up.
For that matter, hallucinations wasn't addressed.
No.
Some of the questions we have about the classic A-lady.
We nearly got one. We nearly got one.
So, some of those questions weren't really answered either. Yeah.
Right, let's talk about price, because that's what everyone's wondering, right? Okay, so how much is this thing going to cost us? I was guessing $5 a month, and I'd spoken to a few people that said, yeah, you know what, $5, I could pay that. That's okay. David, you're the guest. Tell our audience how much this is going to cost. What's it going to cost everyone a month?
Well, it's roughly $20 here in the U.S. It's going to be $19.99 a month, and so I think that's what we're looking at. Should I mention the other angle of it too?
Well, hang on. Yes, just a second. Let's stick with, okay, it's going to cost
just the price. Yeah.
It's going to cost you $20. What's your initial reaction to that?
Not good.
Not good. I agree.
Not bad. Not good. Too much. Way too much.
Felt
like
high
twice as much as what most other things cost.
Well, I mean, ChatGPT, that's around $20, isn't it?
I guess you're right. It might be in the $20 mark.
For Copilot, I believe it's about the same. I think that's about the same as other services.
You're right. Yeah.
But it doesn't seem right on the smart speaker, on Lady A. It does seem too much. Half that, and I think people were saying, well, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
$20, I thought, ooh, no, I'm out. But then there was a one more thing moment.
Well, if they had said $9.99 a month, I think that would have been like, yeah, okay, do you know what? Let's maybe play with that. But you're right. Tell us the one more thing moment there.
Nope. Well, the other thing is, ironically, Sean has been beating this drum forever.
Thank you.
Is that it will be free or included as part of Amazon Prime membership. So if you have Amazon Prime, you get the new fancy A-Lady Plus. Yep.
That's pretty good news, actually.
That's a mic drop moment.
I wonder if that is a little bit of a, you could pay $20 a month just for this, or you could spend this amount. Because hang on, how much is Prime nowadays a month? Do we know?
It's $15 a month.
So hang on, well, there we go. There's the answer.
So you get your $5 that you were.
Do you save $5 and you get all the other stuff that goes with it?
Well, do you save $5? I mean,
I don't know. 20 minus 5 is 20.
Why are you saving? You're spending an extra $5 over Prime. So the AI is costing you $5 more than you're paying for Prime.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's right. So you're saving money by going down the Prime route rather than spending $20 alone on.
Oh, yes. No, you're right. Oh, I've made a fool of myself. You are absolutely correct, sir. Yes, of course.
You pick up everything else. Yeah.
That's the monthly payment. Yeah. And you get Amazon Music, a certain tier. I've lost track of how many tiers of Amazon Music. You get access to Amazon Prime Video as well. Again, don't know what tier. I'm still getting adverts. It just seems strange to me.
I don't get it.
You get next day delivery if that's available where you are. And now you get A+. So actually, if you're already a Prime member, I actually think they needed this because I think the value of Prime was getting less and less because the price has gone up. Has it gone up year on year? I don't know, but it has increased. And I've been looking at Prime recently and thinking, well, actually, I don't know. I don't know if it is worth the money. But if you get the next level, A+, then definitely I'm sticking with Prime.
Yeah, well, I've got Prime Plus, whatever it's called. So yeah, I'll take that, and that'll do me. And I'll have access to it, which is great. But yeah, I think that's it. That's the reason why that price was set that way. I think that's as simple as that, which is a bit cheeky, to be honest.
Cheeky. How dare they? Well, no,
cheeky.
I agree with you. Yeah, exactly. But again, it's not until we actually try this that we think, yeah, this is worth it. You know what? I would have paid $20 just for this on its own anyway. We just don't know how good it's going to be yet. The promise is great. The demos were great. The event was really promising. But who knows when you actually try it out? We will find out.
So let's talk about the final aspect of this, and it comes right back to the beginning, which is products, because there were no new products announced. And I was quite surprised, and I was shocked and horrified because I wanted to buy something. And
You should have said during the event, constantly in my ear. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I only mentioned it 500 times. What, you missed it again? There you go. I was annoyed. But here's the thing. It's because apparently you don't need anything new to run this. It did say most older hardware, or at least most current hardware. It was very vague on this.
Almost
Almost sort of not quite, but perhaps. Yeah, exactly. So
David, stop it.
he's deliberately doing
I didn't
this
even
now.
know he had that sound effect.
There you go. That's a new one for you. But
Almost all devices we have sold will support A+.
what does that mean?
Well, and with the
yeah,
next
that doesn't
information we're going to talk about, I don't even believe that to be the case.
Oh, well, yes. This is a bit of a sad moment, actually. We feel like we've built all this up, and then we tell people this. So according to the information we've got, at time of recording at least, this is only going to be available on the show devices, right? So basically any Echo with a screen. You're not going to get this on a dot. You're not going to get this on...
Well, not all show devices, starting on the Echo Show 8 and above, 8, 10, 15, 21.
Okay.
Where's the Echo 5? It's not there. So, and why is it only show devices? What are we missing here? Does it need the camera? Does it need the screen to make all this work? Is it something to do with the onboard processing, which came into later generations of the Echo devices? But if it is only that, then that chip, which is the ability to not send your command off to the cloud, but process it on the device, is also in some of the audio-only Echo smart
Yeah, I wondered
speakers.
about that.
So we're a bit up in the air. This is coming out in the next couple of weeks for early access. Don't ask me how you get access to that at the moment. I just don't know. But that's in the US. And then it says over the next coming months, it will be released in waves elsewhere. So who knows what that means.
The good tsunami.
But yes, please stop saying that. In households that have the Echo Show 8, 10, 15, and 21, that worries me. I mean, for one thing, I got rid of all my Echo shows because I got so annoying. If you're a screen reader user, that voice view was constantly shouting out, so you'd have to turn it off when you didn't need it, so it didn't shout out the weather or the time to you every 5 minutes. It just didn't work as well as an audio-only smart speaker, so I got rid of all mine. So it could be the case, if you haven't got any either, Stephen, that you will have something to buy.
That's true. Yeah, I'll need to go and buy one of those. I think I never liked the Echo with the screen, to be honest. I found with the voice view it was a bit of a nightmare. Like I said before, you get so much information from it, and then it kind of expects you to see the screen to get the rest. I kind of wish they had an audio mode in there. You could just say, look, just treat this as an audio device. And this is something I think we're going to have to push harder for with Amazon. And, we're going to be at CSUN soon. We'll be meeting people from Amazon, and that's definitely going to be one of my key questions. Can we get an audio mode in there? And stop saying yes and just do it.
Yeah, I'd say it's a blow. It's kind of a blow to the blindness and low vision community, because I know so many of my students, and here in the States we have radio reading services for the blind, use the Echoes that don't have screens. They use the Echo Dots. They use the just the ones that don't have screens. And so, yeah, that's going to kind of lock a lot of people out of. Yeah, I think it's going to be, and as you guys both mentioned, the shows are notoriously buggy. I've had a lot of problems on every time I do a demo on my podcast. I've never used the Echo with the screen just because it's so it's so buggy. I just couldn't do it. I used to have, I think I told Sean this earlier, that I used to have a smart plug plugged up to it just so I had a routine that would reboot it all the time and I wouldn't have to keep reaching behind the desk and unplugging it.
Yeah.
So,
No,
yeah.
that's so true. But how do you find the... I'm hoping that maybe this is a thing that actually says, okay, this show now actually is a viable option for us. Not that it wasn't, again, look, it's not inaccessible. They put the effort in and put a screen reader in there in called Voice View.
Yeah.
But actually using it, it wasn't great, was it? It just felt clunky.
Well, in fairness though as well, we haven't used it in a while. So maybe things have improved. I don't know. Maybe there's been improvements. You're saying, though, David, you've not had much luck and you're rebooting it every day, so that doesn't sound great.
Yeah, I mean, I have the brand, well, I guess it was brand new in 2023, the Echo Show 8 that was formerly demoed on stage when the former devices vice president, Mr. Limp, I think, he demoed it, and that's the one I have sitting over here. Still pretty buggy. The screen reader works, it does what you need to do, but you generally want to shut it off. Otherwise, it's yakking away in your ear all the time.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not. But I hope I mean, I guess we're going to pick up some benefits in the community in the sense that if we get that object recognition and picture recognition, and we can take pictures, have a show and tell that's really robust.
Yeah,
I mean that could be really good. I just hope they work out some of the kinks. And I guess the good news about this $20 a month for those that decide to go that route and don't have Prime is it does show that the Amazon Echoes are actually going to have a legit business model going forward and maybe can get into the black, which they haven't had up until now, really.
that's true. I'm just really hoping that this is just the initial rollout, the show limitation, and that later on maybe they'll say, you know what, actually, if you've got the latest generation Echo Big, as Stephen calls it, or the Echo Studio, or whatever it may be, then yeah, you can run that, but obviously you're not going to get access to the camera features. So yeah, who knows? But a little bit disappointing. But
this could be just to avoid early confusion, right? Because if they have got all these features coming in, people will be saying, well, hang on, how do I do this with my Echo Dot and all that kind of thing? I also do have a fear that they are moving towards a screen-based system completely and moving away from the audio, because if this could be where the separation ends up coming. This is just conjecture, right? I don't know, but just
it could be.
You see it moving in this direction, right? The devices need cameras. Now, look, there's always bedrooms and things where different devices are required. So, you do have like the Echo Pop, for example, which doesn't have a camera in there. And, what is it called? The Echo Dot or Pop with clock or whatever it's called.
The Spot.
That's the one.
That's
Never remember the name of
it had
these
the
things.
little clock on it. Yeah.
And it does have a
they
touch
took the
screen and
camera
stuff,
out.
but,
Yeah,
but they took the camera out of that one, right? So people can have it in their bedroom and not worry about it being there. So I guess there's those kind of things, but I do think this is probably, kind of joking around with Sean about this, there being like of course there's going to be more stuff coming down the line, right? Of course there's going to be new devices coming. I'll be intrigued to see what happens next with the Echo Dot, because what will the offering be on the Echo Dot? Because if it's not with this extra functionality, then where do they go with it then? That's the question. So the next couple of years will be interesting to see where they go. If we only now see launches of the new Echo Show 10 or the Echo Show 8, then that might give us a sense of where things are going. And then the Dot might just be the basic regular Lady A.
Well, there's other things there as well. I mean, what about, is it still a thing? The auto version of the Echo for the car. I mean, does that never get AI? You always got to talk to it in the old-fashioned way. Or the Amazon earbuds that I've got, can I not use it on there?
Dreadful.
The A-Lady built into our Fire TVs, yeah.
I was actually hoping today they would announce glasses with a camera. I was really hoping they were going to announce that today. And actually, that would be really sensible based on all this, right? Because they've now got a platform. So this would work.
That's right. They have the backbone to do it. Yeah.
That's bedrock.
Bedrock to do it. Yeah.
We'll tell them after Stephen's finished shouting at them at CSUN, I will talk to them about maybe the positives of having some glasses. Okay.
Hang on a minute. Stephen's got another guy up against the wall. It must be another double tap interview where he's not happy about something Amazon's done. Look, it's been really interesting, David, to get your perspective on this. I think it was a good event. I'm really pleased the features have come out. I suppose I just wanted toys to buy. But you know what? This is a good move forward. And if finally it's an improvement, I think you've hit it in the head, though, with the point about finally there being a future model for this to succeed and get it into the black. I think that'd be really good to see, because we kind of there so many stories about this project being killed completely.
And it's clearly, I feel like, been on life support for a while now. And so hopefully this will give it a shot in the arm. They'll bring some people back on, maybe look at the skills store again. All of these sort of questions can be hashed out as they actually start to make money with this thing again. So,
but the key thing to walk away from this is, because I know some people will worry about and concern themselves about this, is it going away, the existing service? No, it's not. It's not going anywhere, and it probably won't go away for a long time yet. Your devices are going to work as they are. But if you do want this new Plus feature, you're going to have to get a device with a screen, at least so far. But since it's not coming out outside of the US for a couple of months, you guys get to beta test it for us, David. Thank you for that. It's very kind of you.
Thanks, Dave.
You can kick all the bugs out of it. And
then I'll try.
We'll get the best version of it. That'll be fantastic. You can catch David Ward on the Echo Tips podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. David, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure.
Sean
Thanks,
Priest,
David.
thank you. We'll catch you again soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.